shit. I get nervous every time. Oh, hi.
Hi. Something's trying to go live. I don't know what's happening. Hey guys, it's Ted Bogert. Happy Tuesday, Gratitude Tuesday, Top of Mind Tuesdays, and of course Kendra Davies Tuesdays. Super excited to have her back. It's our first show of the new year. Talk it out. She's with Stellar Life Coaching. She is Stellar Life Coaching. And we're going to talk about goals for 2021 today, which is such an important topic. I think people are trying to figure out what to do. They don't know how to do it. I'm one of them. I'm terrible at storyboarding. I don't know how to do my, vision board. Like none of that stuff at all. So we're here to learn from you, Miss Davies. How was your holiday?
Oh, my holiday was wonderful. It really was. It really was.
Did you get to relax?
Lots of downtime, and probably for the first time in years, I actually did not work for 2 weeks.
Wow. What was that like for you? Was it hard?
Hard. It was hard at first, and then once I was like, oh, look, I'm not working, then it was hard to like working again.
It's weird, right? Because we all dream of it. That's our dream, I think, especially when the alarm goes off and you're like, I don't want to go into that job. I don't feel like dealing with clients today. So we all kind of feel it. And then when we have it, sometimes it's not exactly what we thought it would be.
No. And I don't have any of that for anything that I do, like the I don't wanna. I have the 2020 was a shit year, and then I got senioritis at the mid-December time. I was like, listen, I just got to get through one more week, and then I don't have to go back to school,
Woo-hoo.
Burn it all down. I just got to
burn it down. I love that.
So it was more like senioritis, like mommy needed a break. 2020.
Well, you know what? We all need it. We just didn't, we think we had one during COVID, during especially the height of the pandemic. And I think people don't give themselves enough credit for the fact that they still had to work. We still had to figure out how to order toilet paper. I mean, there were some stressors that we had never experienced before in our worlds. And so give yourself some credit. You may have felt like you took a break in 2020, but I don't know many people who really did.
No, I don't know anyone who actually did.
So tell us about, before we take a deep dive into goals for 2021, because I think that's on everyone's mind. Yeah. You have something new. Are we allowed to hear the launch? Are we allowed to hear the info about it?
Yes. So I have a workshop that I used to do in person, way back when we did these things.
Back in 2019.
Exactly. Called the Slay Sessions. And it was a goal setting workshop. And it is like a hodgepodge of kind of different things, tips, tricks, tools, and resources that I have acquired over time from other places. And then also some of the kind of like, I'm a deep person, yeah? And anyways, my process for setting goals and attaining goals and being kind of badass comes from being able to stay connected to who I am as a person. So I kind of distilled this process of learning self-awareness, aligning your goals with who you are and what you actually want. And that became the Slay Sessions. And when I did live, it was a 4-week workshop. And now it is 100% self-paced online. I flew to New York before the pandemic hit in February, February 20th.
I remember.
I was in New York and I recorded the videos for it. It's my baby. It's one of my favorite workshops.
Love it.
And people get outstanding results from the content, and I'm excited for it to be available.
Where do people sign up?
So you can go to stellarlifecoaching.com, click on events, select Slay, and that'll take you directly to the page. Nice. Right now, because it is brand new, literally yesterday was the first day live. We are offering the workshop for $99. So
wow.
Get on
that. That is amazing. All right. So you go to stellarlifecoaching.com, which is scrolling. Is it a hashtag Slay? Or no, not hashtag.
You go to the menu, select events, and then Slay. And that'll take you to the website.
I think people are hungry for that. People are hungry for what you're offering. I think I think we all want to figure out how to slay 2021 because we had no idea what we were doing in 2020. So I love it. So go to stellarlifecoaching.com and click on the events. First, look for Slay and register. $99 is nothing. All of you guys keep telling me, I want to do 2021 differently, Ted. I want to figure out what I really want to do. I want to set my goals. Okay, so here's an opportunity for you to do that. All right, so let's talk about goals. We're going to give them a sneak peek about goals because I think people, you know, we always joke that resolutions, I mean, that's already come and gone for most people. They worked out on January 2nd and now it's January 5th. It's over. And that's, you know, it's okay because resolutions are just, to me, set up to be failure oriented on so many parts because we don't provide ourselves with the resources or the permission to do the things. That's a whole other story. So let's talk about goals, though.
Yeah.
You picked the topic, which is why I always love to ask you why this topic.
So, well, first and foremost, for me, goal setting was something that I always struggled with. Like I was always looking for planners. I was always looking for gurus and tips and tricks and productivities. And I had just basically acquired like a mountain of resources that each of them had little things that were really, really useful, but there was no one tool with all of the things. Yeah. And so I knew I needed to rein it in. I needed to be able to have the thing that's specific, but I also needed to know what my why was. I was setting goals and I had the usual shit like, you know, oh, I want to lose weight. I want to work out. I want to do this. I want like basic stuff. But then I had these larger goals there were goals that were bigger than I had ever gone. And I didn't know the path from point A to point B. Right. So I had to have a framework to begin. And so that's what Slay Sessions actually is. It is the framework that I use. It is the model that I have used that kind of takes every area of my life, at home, at work, with money, with fun, with spirituality, with my fitness, all of these different areas of who I am as a person. What is it that I want to attain? And the most magical thing that I could give you is that if you were to list out every single thing that you want to achieve, every single goal that you want to achieve, what I teach people in Slay is how to prioritize them based on the joy that this thing will bring you and the excitement you have about struggling for it, right? Because see, here's the thing. We set these goals, but the process to get from A to B, we're not pumped about the process.
We're not
pumped about the process. We don't get there, right? So we just need to build up our foundation and get our momentum going. So for those goals that don't bring us a lot of excitement and like don't bring us a ton of joy, like we want it, but we're like, right? Then we don't focus on those first. We get the momentum first. We find the joy first. We prioritize those things. That's building our confidence, our self-efficacy, the belief that we have about ourselves and our abilities to achieve something. When we start prioritizing that, then we make our beginning.
It's very hard, I think, and a lot of people commented before we went live. You mentioned it too. The actual thought process of goal setting is enough to put me to sleep.
Yeah.
It's enough to stress me out if I'm that type of person, to get anxiety about, to feel like a failure. Because what happens when you go into it with the wrong mindset is that you're setting these goals and you're not setting them with any kind of parameters like you talked about, or foundation or strengths, or you're just going at it and you're almost setting yourself up for failure as you do it. And so the whole process feels fake. It feels disingenuous. There's nothing positive about it, which is why I think a lot of people stray away from goal setting. They're afraid of it. It's something that is uncomfortable for them, mainly because they don't know how to do it in a way that they're actually setting themselves up for success.
Exactly. You know, the three things that I always talk about with goal setting, the first one is don't set arbitrary goals. Well, the first one is focus on what you want, not what you don't want. Yes.
I love that.
Who say, I don't want to smoke. I don't want to eat carbs. I don't want to be in a broken relationship. Right. And I always say that there's power in our language, right?
Yes.
Because you say you don't want to be in a broken relationship, it's not the same as saying, I want to be in a healthy relationship, right? You're not saying the same thing. So when it comes to setting the goal, holding it in your mind and carrying it with your intention, it's just really, really important to focus on what you do want, not what you don't want.
Yes. Yes, because I think that it's easier to focus on the negative. And what I feel like when you focus on the I don'ts, you're bringing that negativity in. I'm old school about the whole law of attraction and that kind of stuff. So if I'm constantly focusing on the things I don't want, guess what's going to come to fruition in my life? A whole bunch of ish I don't want.
Yeah.
And I'm not accomplishing anything because I'm so focused on all the things I don't want to do that I have no idea how to structure, to talk about what I actually do want to do.
And if we stick with like a broken relationship example, you say you have the goal, you don't want to be in this broken relationship anymore. First of all, you're only speaking about the broken relationship you're in. You're not talking about fixing the things within yourself that got you into this, right?
True.
So what happens if that becomes your goal, then you're only looking for your red flags. You're not looking for the diamonds in the rough.
You're not
only looking at the red flags.
Sure.
So what happens is you begin to have this negativity bias with this thing that does not actually take you closer. Your brain is focused on the not and not the want, not the actual goal itself. So the first thing that I always say is focus on what you want, not what you don't want.
I love that, Kendra, so much. I think the framing, instead of saying I don't want to be poor, which I hear a lot, reframe that. Get the I don'ts out of your positive statements. Get the I don'ts out of how you're framing stuff, and you're a law of attraction, whatever you are, faith-based. It's still all of those things say you've got to focus on the things that you do want, not the things that you don't.
Yeah. And I think that number 2 is like, don't set arbitrary goals, right? Arbitrary goals are those things that you think you should do. They're the things that you've been saying that you should do for a long time. You should lose weight. You should quit smoking. And there's no argument that maybe you are overweight and you do need to lose weight. Yeah. And smoking isn't healthy for you and you may want to quit smoking, right? But if it is not actually alive in you, if I was to, let's just do a little quick test here, just the two of us. Yeah.
Oh Lord, I can already tell I'm in trouble.
How much energy would we be putting into doing something that we think we should do or like not do, right? I should quit. How much shame and guilt and energy do we waste feeling and processing shame and guilt, hiding our behaviors, being afraid to tell people, or, you said you were going to lose this weight 500 times already and you've not done it, right? You carry this energy, this excess energy that's just wasted on an arbitrary goal. When the truth is that you may need to lose weight. Yeah. You may need to quit smoking. Fine. Pin it up on the board. I'm not saying you don't. What I am saying is that if you keep setting goals that are not alive in you to meet, you're going to keep feeling like failure. Pin them up on the board. Don't forget about them. Pin them up on the board and switch your focus to something that is actually alive in you. Because I promise you, when you really come to terms with yourself and you say, you know what, I don't really give a shit if I quit smoking or not, but I would love to be on a bowling league. When you get on a bowling league, you're going to feel more empowered, more positive. You're going to feel good. And when we begin to feel good because we have momentum with goals that are actually aligned with who we are and actually what we want, not arbitrary because we think we should or somebody told us we should, then what happens is it has this generalized effect on us. Where all of a sudden I make better food decisions and all of a sudden I feel like I'm just going to smoke less. Maybe I'm gonna cut out cars. I'm at the bowling alley all the time now. I need to get off the tots, like whatever, like whatever the thing is, it's like it has a generalized impact on us.
It's so true and so powerful. We talk about it on the show a lot. I think a lot of people actually think, because they've convinced themselves that they love rolling around in the misery and dirt and dirtiness of how they're a failure and how they're not going to get anywhere. It's almost a comfort zone for them. But when you begin to refocus and kind of turn it around, like Kendra's talking about, you begin to see these little positives that come in, and you're like, well, God, I don't have to live in the slop.
Yeah.
I don't have to believe that about myself anymore. That's not true. But we find comfort in a weird way.
Quick, those folks that are where what you're describing, you cannot know it until you do it. You have to let the arbitrary goal go. You have to give yourself permission to say, you know what? I have said that I'm going to lose 15 pounds for 10 years. And every year I say I'm going to do it. I think I'm going to do it, but then I don't. Let yourself off the hook. Focus on something that you do want to do. Because what happens is we break these agreements with ourselves, and then we lose our confidence. And then we lose the belief that our self-efficacy, that idea that we can change, we lose that when we begin to focus on those goals that aren't actually ours, that aren't really aligned with who we are and what we really want.
I love the word arbitrary because I feel like most people go through their life with some arbitrary thought process on where they want to be. There's no planning. There's no definitive motions. There's no nothing.
You're like, just to look a certain way at 23.
It was just, that's how I'm supposed to be. That's how my family was. So now this is how I am.
Yeah.
It's so empowering when you can realize that you don't have to accept those arbitrary parameters, guidelines, path that somebody has set for you and you've accepted. You don't have to accept it. That's the best part of what you're saying. You actually have control over accepting it or not. And if you choose not to accept it, nobody's saying the journey is just sweet and clean and breezy and amazing. But you're doing it on your own terms, and you're doing it for the good and the things that you know you can accomplish, small bits at a time. That's why the goal setting is so important. Like you're talking about, we're not talking about saying I want to lose 10 pounds by January 31st. I mean, if that's really on your heart, like Kendra's talking about, and you have the wherewithal to do it, okay. But most of the time we're just doing it because we saw the commercial.
But even still, another thing that I'm always teaching is like, if you take that thing that you say you want to do, associate it with a way that you want to feel.
Yes.
Like, don't say, I just want to lose 10 pounds. Say, I want to be able to take on the stairs without losing my breath. Because what happens is that I have clients who literally will eat kale every single day of their lives for 6 months and not lose a fucking pound. But when you measure their muscle, right? When you measure in a different way, they feel better in their skin.
Yes.
I have a client who doesn't tell me how much he weighs. What he tells me is I can tie my shoes. He tells me
that's a big deal.
I picked my leg up, I put it on my knee to tie my shoes, and I didn't have to lift it up with my arms, right? How do you want to feel? Because when we set those arbitrary goals, or those goals that are just, the resolution type goals, if you shift it over to how you want to feel, you give yourself more room. You have a lot more clarity to play with. One, how you get there, right? And then how are you going to measure success? The third thing that I always harp on when we talk about goals is do-overs. Like the goals that you have set for yourself over and over and over that you haven't done. Writing that book, starting the blog, posting your videos, like whatever the thing is, starting that business, right? Whatever thing that you have set for yourself over and over again, unexamined do-over goals are poison. We need to explore what is in the way. And you were talking about mindset when we got started. And that is the secret sauce. Like the difference between people who achieve and people who don't doesn't have anything to do with want. We all want, right? It is the mindset that allows us to be in growth, right? How do I learn to love the process? How do I connect this thing to who I am? How do I learn to see the world around me as possible instead of impossible? And when you have goals that you've set for yourself over and over and over and over again, that you've not examined why you're not achieving them, they're just like bumps. You're just doing it to do it. It's alive in you, right? It might be your passion. It might be your purpose on this planet is to write this and change lives. Absolutely. But but you've been talking about it for 10 years now, right? You're not even taking you serious.
So you're not. I love to hear people say those goals. It's my favorite. I hear the same thing over again. I'm still working on chapter 1 of my book. Wow. Okay. So that was 10 years ago, like Kendra's saying. And you don't, I think it's because it's easier to say, I'm still working on it than face the reality you've done not a friggin' thing at all to move that forward.
And here's the thing. I don't want to shame you for not doing it. I want you to stop making yourself do the thing that you're not doing. Like, change the goal. It's not about writing the book anymore. It's about exploring ghostwriters. It's about getting with a coach or a therapist or talking to a publisher. Switch the goal so you can move towards the book, but without making it, I need to write the whole book. For whatever reason, you are fearful. You are not making the time. You don't have the tools, resources, or energy that is required to accomplish the goal. There are reasons why. And those reasons, whatever is in the way, that is the goal. That is the work that you actually have to do in order to make that goal possible.
And I encourage you not to be fearful of that. We all have those obstacles, those self-imposed obstacles that we are constantly trying to overcome, and then not realizing we're the ones that put them there. So we have to figure out how to come, but we're not saying it's easy. We're just saying you have to shift a little bit your mindset on how you approach things, which Kendra is obviously giving you tools to do.
Yeah.
All right. So when can people sign up? When does this start? Because I want to sign up. I love it. So tell us.
Slay Sessions is live right now online. It's 100% self-paced. It's a 4-part series. All of the videos, my workbook is broken down. The assignments are there. If you're really looking to get clarity, if you really want to map out your goals and really align what you want with who you are and actually achieve these things, then I think Slay Sessions would be an invaluable investment. And it's only $99 right now. So if you go to stellarlifecoaching.com, click on events, and then select Slay, you can access it there. And if you have any questions, you all know. You know
how to reach her?
Call me. Yeah, you can call me. You can email me directly from my website, or even on Facebook if you have questions. I'm here to help.
I'm excited. I think it's such an important session or set of sessions, because people really are trying to connect with the legitimate purpose, and they don't know how to do it. They're trying to be intentional, but that word's a buzzword. They don't know how to do it. So you help give them tools to really look at yourself and try to set these goals. Slay it, baby. Slay it. Woo! All right, Kendra Davies, stellarlifecoaching.com. She's the best. Thank you so much for sharing your insights. You guys, it's only $99. I don't do a whole bunch of product promo on here, but I know this is going to be worth it for you because she's amazing. You get to see her every week here, or just about every week. And so imagine some focused time, self-paced focused time. That gives you permission to do the things that you want to do and you need to do.
Yeah. And, and after 2020, I just want to say, after 2020, I feel like everybody that I've spoken to is, some of us are in a great place and some of us aren't, right? Like the spectrum is wide. I feel like there is an opportunity right now to really hone in and ask ourselves, what is it that we want? What do we want to achieve? What do we want to feel? What relationships are we really trying to nurture? How am I overextending myself? Which ways do I want to invest in myself to feel better in my body, right? Like, these are really important questions I think all of us are asking. And I think goal setting is an understatement for what Slay Sessions actually is. But I believe that it starts with that, and giving ourselves permission that even though some of us might be apprehensive or cautiously optimistic about 2021, there are a lot of choices that we can make for ourselves and goals that we can set for ourselves that do not rely on the circumstances around us.
That's right. Come on, y'all. Go for it. Kendra Davies, SolarLifeCoaching.com. Go to events and go to Slay and sign up. Only $99. I just think it's so important for you to do something positive for your 2021 and get off the couch, get off the proverbial couch anyway, and get to doing what you know you should be doing. And if you need help with it, look who's here to help. The one and only Kendra Davies. All right, you're a joy. Love you to pieces. Thank you so much. We'll be back next week with another fun, amazing topic. I learned something new every time. All right, Kendra Davies, you're the best. We'll see you guys soon. Bye, everybody.